薄いのアホ。
プリズムパワーメイクアップカードレディー。
Welcome to Shojo Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, April 21st, 2024, we'll be shoujo and telling about the second half of the series Hot Gimmick by Miki Aihara. So that's volumes 7 through 12. I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined once again by Naja B of Blerdy Otome. Hello again, Naja.
Hi! Thanks for having me again.
Yes, you came back to talk more about Hot Gimmick for some reason.
Because I love talking about Hot Gimmick. It's a mess.
I love that you love talking about Hot Gimmick. Okay, so for people who only want the really dirty deets probably, and they didn't listen to the first episode, Naja, who are you?
So, like you said, my name is Naja B. I also go by Blerdy or Blerdy Otome on the interwebs. I am a variety streamer on Twitch. I run the gaming site Blerdy Otome, where I talk about Otome games, BL games, manga, josei muke, mostly indie games, and just anything else that tickles my fancy. And that's pretty much what I do online. Yell about games.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Naja is here because I found that you had written a positive review of Hot Gimmick, and I was like, great, I love that. Love to see it. Tell me more.
It's still so funny that you say that. When you said it, I was like, what review? And then I went through and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did write about Hot Gimmick.
You forget what you wrote about.
Well, I wrote about it more than once, because once it was like I was writing about my comfort manga series. And as I was writing the list, I was like, none of these are actually cozy manga. Not one. And Hot Gimmick was on that list. And so it was like Uzumaki, which is a horror manga. So I was like, yeah, my comfort series are weird. And then I went and I found the review I wrote about Hot Gimmick. And I was like, I still stand by what I said. I wrote this at least 6 years ago, but I still stand by this. Yeah, no, I agree.
Hard agree with past me. Good. Okay.
Yep. 10 out of 10 would still say the same things, and probably would tentatively recommend Hot Gimmick to people. Tentatively.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we're going to see. All right. We're going to talk about that some more. But so for now, I'm going to give the spoiler warning because this is about only the back half of a series. Okay. So we're definitely going to say all the things that happen at the end because the end is wild in particular.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay. So if you haven't read Hot Gimmick before, but you want to know a little bit, go listen to our first episode. And if you just want to read Hot Gimmick for some godforsaken reason, truly, it's published by Viz Media's Shoujo Beatline in English. It's still available both physically and digitally from what I can see on the internet. I don't know. I was given some copies. I initially read it from the library. I would never willfully purchase Hot Gimmick.
And I am the weirdo who willfully purchased all of Hot Gimmick
Naja's
with money.
The one who's here to tell you why to willfully purchase Hot Gimmick.
Yes, with money, with real money.
With real US dollars or whatever currency you trade in.
It's been so long since I bought this. I bought these, I got the Viz Big editions, and I bought them from a Borders that was closing down.
Oh, a Borders, wow.
Yeah, if you remember Borders. And I had dragged my boyfriend at the time to go with me because this Borders was in the middle of nowhere, Maryland. And we go, and they'd already sold their computer systems and their shelves. So all the books were kind of just thrown about somewhere in piles on the floor.
Just on the floor.
Yeah, they were just there. And people were going through them, digging through them and snarling and fighting for them. It was insane. It was a war zone. And we go in there, and there's barely any lights on because they've sold pretty much everything at this point. And I'm digging through piles of stuff that's manga. And I get some, and then I get to the Hot Gimmick ones, and I'm like, oh my God, they have volumes 1 and 2. I was like, wait, do they have 3 and 4? Again, there's no system. There's no way to find this. Everything is just haphazardly thrown everywhere. People are snarling and growling at each other in the dark as they look for books at a really cheap price. And I found 3, and then I was like, okay, we got to find 4. We just got to find 4. And then I found 4 in the other corner of the store. This is a big store too. So Yeah, I worked to buy this. I got it really cheap. Like they still have the border stickers on the back of them too.
Oh, well, you got, yeah, that's just part of its charm now, you know.
It's history. These are history.
Yeah. I was like, listen, kids, 2008 or 9 or whatever was a different time.
Yeah, like I said, snarling and growling at each other as they fought over books. It was very like just primeval. It was great. It was a great time.
It was a great
several
time.
borders.
Yeah, we didn't quite have the manga dearth that we have now. It was crashing at that time, so
it was. And Borders was one of the biggest like booksellers. Barnes and Noble was doing their thing, but they still didn't have like, they weren't on the same level as Borders. Like everybody went to Borders, and you never really heard about anybody going to a Barnes and Noble for anything. They just felt more upper crust, and Borders was just like for everybody. So when Borders shut down and they were saying they went bankrupt and they were going to close all their shops, it was just kind of like, well, what are we going to do for our books? So we, you know, everybody traveled far and wide to everyone they could get, because they were really trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. And I got a lot of my manga really cheap during that time.
we miss those times. Yes,
it was a time.
All right, so we're gonna pick up where we left off with
Yes.
last HOT GIMMICK. So just to set the scene quickly for the people of where we got to last time. So like Hatsumi and Ryoki were going to the inn that's like Ryoki's family in place in Izu that his mom never goes to because whatever, we'll get there in this part. But so like reasons. So it was New Year's Eve. You know, Ryoki was like, we're finally gonna do it. This is the time. Like, no parents, we're gonna do it. And he fell asleep, and Hatsumi didn't wake him up. And so where we start is he wakes up in the morning like a normal person.
Does he wake up like a normal person?
Okay, well, he wakes up mad because he's Ryoki.
I was gonna say, let's think about this. He didn't wake up like a normal person. He was pretty pissed.
He was just immediately mad, well, that she hadn't woken him up.
So
that
his clothes were on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was mad that his clothes were on and
her clothes were on. This is bad.
He was very mad about that.
So basically, he gets really mad that his tactics for getting her out of her clothes and jumping her bones are not working. So he decides to change tactics. And at the start of where we are, he decides to let his mom and everyone know that they are boyfriend and girlfriend. So then surely there can be no obstacles. Lol, he's very funny.
He's an idiot is what he is.
So this like obviously changes like their relationship dynamic. It changes the whole dynamic of their crazy company housing complex. And within is there a love is it a rectangle? Is Azusa still there? I don't know.
Azusa's gone to get therapy, I hope. Doubtful, but I hope. And their only obstacle in the way of their romance is Hatsumi's brother.
Shinogu. Yes.
Surprise the frickin' prize. Like.
So I think the overarching plot threads that we go through in this back half are like, who was really Asusa's mom's lover? That's like the mystery that Asusa and Shinogu are really trying to solve. Hatsumi gets in on it. Ryoki is his usual terrible self about it.
He's literally like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? I think when they ask him, he's like, she's like, it's so important. And he's like, who cares? All that matters is that we have sex.
Yeah. I was just like, this. Does he have to be terrible about everything?
Honestly, I think yes. If he was not terrible about everything, I would be worried that he had been like switched out with an alternate reality.
You'd be like, people don't change like that, so that's unrealistic.
Yeah, no, I was like, it's not him. Somebody took his body. He's been possessed. We need to take him to get an exorcism or something. But like, what did he do? He was nice to her. He bought her gifts and told her he loved her. Like, yeah, that's a problem. If he ever does that, there's a problem. Something's wrong. But yeah, the whole who really porked Azusa's mom is such a big plot point, and I don't know why it's such a big plot point. It has absolutely nothing to do with Hatsumi or Ryoki. Well, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It has something to do with them, but it has nothing to do with them and their relationship, which is something I say very loosely.
I was like, so you're like Team Ryoki in this.
Okay. Yes and no.
You're like, never be Team Ryoki in anything.
Yes.
Yes.
And no.
All right, explain.
So, okay, wait. We should talk about the plot, and then I can explain along the way why I give Ryoki some grace. But I also acknowledge that he is an unhealthy person and he should not be in a relationship with anyone other than a nice therapist.
Yes, he definitely needs a nice therapist. Okay.
Because, yeah, I said it a little bit last time, but there are reasons that he is the way that he is. There's a lot of neglect on his side. He comes from a rich family and his parents are so busy with their reputation and maintaining this kind of facade of like who they are that they don't really give him the time of day outside of saying, hey, you need to be this. You need to be the best in school. You need to be the best of the best because we're an example for other people. And that is a lot of pressure to put on a kid. However, he is spoiled as crap. So they never check him or tell him he can't really do anything as long as he stays within the guidelines of getting good grades and being a little gentleman in front of other people. They don't stop him from anything that he does. And his dad's busy doing other people. So he's never there to truly guide Ryoki. His mom, she does the best that she can, but she's also got like everything on her shoulders too, covering up for her husband and then maintaining this facade of just like everything's fine. So he kind of slips through the cracks. And he doesn't have the socialization skills to be a decent person. Is that an excuse for anything that he does? No, not at all. Like he does some really heinous and horrible things to Hatsumi and other people. And he should take responsibility for that. And he should be punished to some regard for the things that he does. But does he ever get that punishment? No. Not at all, because I don't know where this author was when they were writing this, but I don't think they were in a good place because there's a lot of stuff that just went whoop, over the moon.
It's annoying because with this plot thread in particular, I feel like Ryoki actually was starting to suffer consequences for his actions, right? Like
feelings, what his actual like having feelings. It's like
well,
the Wizard of Oz
reprimanding him too.
It's like the Wizard of Oz when they give the Tin Man a heart and he's like, I can feel, I can love. It's like his consequences are he now feels guilt for the things that he does. Does it stop him from doing it? No, he still does it. He's like, I'm burdened by he's like Hal. He's literally like an evil Hal from Hal Moving Castle. He's like, ugh, what is this pain on my chest? And Sophie's just like, a heart's a heavy burden to bear. Like that is literally Ryoki. Just like, what is this feeling?
I guess he doesn't suffer so much consequences as people do reprimand him for certain actions that he takes during this plot thread. Like they do. At one point, he slaps Hatsumi, which I was
in front of other people.
In front of like a ton of other people.
Problem number one. Here's problem number one with that. Every other time, not that I'm excusing this because domestic violence is not okay. It's never okay. But every other time that Ryoki has done something physical to Hatsumi, it has been privately. It has been away from other people's eyes. At this point, he does it in front of a room full of people and they're all like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I do this all the time. What are you talking about? And they're like, I'm sorry, you what? And Hatsumi's like, it's fine. It's okay. I must have done something to upset him. And they're just like, no, it's not.
It's like he does it in front of both of his parents, Mariko, the maid, Asusa was there, like everybody. Shinogu, and some combination of the other like minor/major characters were there. So there were like several adults and some of their peers there.
And Shinogu was not gonna let that slide, like not even for a second. That man was ready. He said, I'm sorry, the heck have you been doing to my sister? Like I let it go because I thought she liked you, but I'm sorry, what? Yeah. Nah, you stay away from her. You cannot see her. You are not allowed to see him. Don't do that. But
And
Yeah, first
Mariko was
rookie-
mad at him.
Yeah,
too.
rookie
Yeah.
mistake number 1. He did it in front of a group of people and thought it was okay. Not to say that you should do this at all. Let me clarify with everything. I'm joking.
But we got to see characters be mad at Ryoki, which
Yeah,
felt
for like
nice and
5 seconds.
correct, right?
Like 5 seconds. Yeah, they were mad. They're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I mean, she crossed me."
Yeah. He's like, but it was her fault. And they're all like, bro.
No, there's never a point where it's her fault that you hit her. Like,
Yeah,
that was
like,
literally the response.
It was your hand, like, hit her cheek. No.
Like, I didn't do it. She made me do it. And they're just like, no.
Which, again, from my perspective, I'm like, is very high school. I was the one who hit people like this in high school. Like, literally, my boyfriend at the time, I hit him in the middle of class, like straight across the face, and nobody did anything. Like, are you kidding me? So,
it was not me. I wasn't. I didn't do it. But
I know. See, so I'm like, I understand the high schoolness of this, but again,
yeah,
I'm like, glad that people reprimanded Ryoki because correct. We were both very wrong, Ryoki.
Does it have any lasting effect on Ryoki? No. Like, so really, did they do anything in the end? No. Not even.
It's going to take a lot to reform Ryoki.
He needs to be locked up. He needs a therapist. All that money needs to go to all that divorce money needs to go towards a therapist.
One of those rooms in their penthouse suite needs to be just like a locked room. Yeah, like quiet, permanent therapist lives there.
Yeah, and they just open the door and shove him in multiple times a day. He does something. He goes in the closet. Like, yes. Ryoki, and like him getting checked is one. It's like it happens and then it doesn't really happen again. Like it doesn't really do anything. Like it's like, oh, okay. He just learns to get better about what he's doing. He's like, oh, I shouldn't do this in front of people. And
as you said, he felt a bit of guilt. Like immediately after you saw his face and you were like, yeah, you don't like that decision you just made, do you?
It was a bad choice. But like, yeah, it doesn't. He's one of those characters that actually goes through a character arc. And it's like one of those really blink and you miss it kind of things because he does, like you said, feel feelings. He starts to feel guilt for things that he does. He starts to want to do better. He just doesn't have the skills or the tools to actually do anything meaningful or lasting. And because they don't get him therapy, it doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. Like he does love Hatsumi. He does want to do right by her. He does want to make her happy, but he doesn't have the tools to make another human being truly happy without being a selfish little butt about it.
Yeah.
Like, you see, that's why I'm kind of on his side a little bit, but I'm also kind of not, because you do see him wanting to make these lasting changes and wanting to be a better person and wanting to do more. But he's so stunted that he doesn't know what to do. And when he does do right, it's like, okay, good. But then he regresses immediately and goes back to what's comfortable for him. And it's like 1 step forward to take 5 steps back. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. And we do get a lot of insight into his own thoughts and feelings about what's going on around him. So you are a bit more sympathetic to him than you are to say like Azusa, who you don't really get that much insight into his motivations. Like you get that one backstory thing of like explaining why he did what he did to Hatsumi. But other than that, you don't spend a lot of time going through like his rationale for stuff. And so you don't feel as sympathetic. But with Ryoki, you do get a lot of that because he is a main character. And we have to know that he's not a complete monster.
Because Mariko gives him a lot of benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, she does.
She's like the Ryoki whisperer.
She's literally she should be his therapist. Like she needs to go to school for her psych degree and stop playing. Like, and just be his live-in therapist because she's the only one who like, she understands where he's coming from because she's worked for the family for years and she knows like what the situation is and how he became what he is. And she tries to check him in the ways that she can. And he does actually listen to her, which is something he doesn't really do for anybody, not even Hatsumi, when he starts realizing he's in love with her because he ignores her even worse. But yeah, it's just like she has a wedge in, but there's still that barrier because she's like his employee.
Yeah.
So there's still kind of this barrier that she can't cross. There's things that she cannot say and she cannot do because one real misstep and she's lost her job and now she has no way to like do anything. So she's restricted too. Like he really just needs to be removed from his parents' custody and put somewhere.
He's trying to remove himself from them because so like in this arc, the conflict becomes like Hatsumi really values her family and, you know, keeping them together and respecting them and like loving them. And Ryoki obviously has no reason to feel any warm, fuzzy feelings about his family, right? So he's like, I don't see why any of this is relevant to anything. And, you know, what our parents did shouldn't affect like what we are able to do now. And but you know, it's like that's fine. I don't actually like fully disagree with that perspective, right? But it's he knows that it's important to Hatsumi and consciously decides to lie that he knows the answer is his dad was seeing Asuza's mom.
And that's the thing. He's known the whole time.
Yes.
Like, Ryoki has known the entire time. And when he drops this bomb, everybody is pissed. Like everybody's like, what the hell? Like you knew? And he's like, wow, it didn't matter. Whatever my dad does doesn't have anything to do with me. And Azusa's just like, bruh, like, you know, this ruined my life, right? And Hatsumi's like, it ruined my dad's life.
By extension, it ruined my...
He's just like, who gives a flip? It doesn't matter. Sorry. It's not supposed to be funny, but it kind of is. Because he's just like, he just like drops his bomb. Like everybody knew that, like should have known this from the beginning. And then he's like, okay, but moving on. So we're going to move in together.
I mean, it's a little bit obvious after a certain point. Like people were not using their 2 brain cells up in there to like put 2 and 2 together here. But
yeah, it was just one of those moments where he said it and then he's like, okay, moving on. So about us moving away together. So you got your bags packed? And she's like, no, we're not going. No. I can't be with you.
Oh yeah, I forgot they ran away together for a hot minute there because
idiots.
Because high school, I don't know.
Like fools, like absolute fools. I was just like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? How did we get to this point? Why are you doing this? This is
not the most ridiculous part of the back half, though. Like,
no, it's not. The part. There's another part that just has me so incensed to this day. I read the series a long time ago for the first time. I was pissed then, and every subsequent reread of this series has made me increasingly more pissed off about this one plot point. I'm not sympathetic at all. No. And I never will be, and I don't care. And that was the dumbest thing ever. I said, shut up. I read it and I was like, shut up. I don't know. You think you're noble? You think this is a noble thing? Shut up. No, it's not. You're weak. You're weak and you're selfish. Go away.
Ooh, I love these hot takes. Okay, we're going to get there, though. We're going to keep talking about Ryoki and Hatsumi. Yeah. Like, so the other part of, besides the what their parents did in the past conflict that we have a lot of people being like, hey, Ryoki and Hatsumi, you don't really seem like you'd be ultimately compatible, which, like, yes.
Facts.
Facts. But agreed. Of course, several people telling them that leads them to be like, no, but I want them even more, right? Like that's the only logical story point to lead to.
Like, no, when every adult and when every other person, even your
I was like, Azusa's also like, nah.
Yeah, Azusa sets up a whole gang rape scenario when even he says, yeah, I don't think y'all should be together. It's not cool. And you still do it? There's a problem. When should have been locked up, Azusa is saying y'all don't need to be together. There's a problem.
You shouldn't be with him. He's bad. It's like, oh yeah, you would know, wouldn't you, Azusa?
Yes. Pot calling the kettle black here, but still Hatsumi's like, but now I love him and now I want to be with. I'm like, girl, you've only been with one person your entire life, and we're not including Azusa because that wasn't real.
No, that was.
But bad. Like you have developed this toxic Stockholm-esque relationship with Ryoki,
Yes.
and you are clinging to this, and everyone is everyone. Well, her sister was telling her, "Go
Well,
for it. He's
because
rich.
her
He's hot."
sister is, yeah, exactly.
But her sister's also not a reliable person at this point or any other point. But
You think
like,
she should start to be, because her and Subaru actually are good.
they are. He is putting in the work to fix that girl, and
Yeah.
I gotta say, good for him. Good for him and good for her. They have the cutest little romance, and every time they're on screen, I'm like, why can't they
I
be the
know.
main
I was like,
couple?
why isn't this about them?
Why am I following these two chuckleheads over here? Can we follow the children, please?
Yes.
God, they can be taught. They can be molded like clay and learn. These two idiots, they're stuck. They're not going anywhere.
No.
And God forbid that Ryoki and Hatsumi have children one day. Lord help us. I pray that Ryoki and Hatsumi never have children, because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see how that works.
I mean,
I don't
yeah.
want to know. I don't want to know how these children turn out. Like,
We got spared from that, even though they gave the promise of Ryoki's like, we're gonna get married as soon as we graduate, or whatever, when we turn 18. Which is,
I hope she runs. My happy ending.
Marry me. That's an order, Naja.
My happy ending is that she ends up getting to study abroad or something, and she just leaves.
She just leaves. She just disappears.
In the night, yeah, you never find her again. Like, that's my happy ending.
Yeah. I think Ryoki has moments with his parents, right? Where it's like, oh, we see that Ryoki understands how broken his situation is and how messed up his parents are, because he does go and be like, hey, mom, like, you think you're so morally upstanding? Do morally upstanding people use their powers to like spread gossip and rumors and everywhere?
He's also a sociopath. Like, he's sociopaths can suss out dynamics and how what's actually going on with people, but do they actually have empathy? No. Like, yes, a broken clock is right twice a day, but Ryoki is still Ryoki.
Yes.
Like, he can call out other people's BS, but like, he doesn't have the emotional bandwidth to actually figure out how to fix his own problems. Like, he can acknowledge them. Yeah, but he doesn't
he's
know
definitely
how to
just
fix
that
them.
like, I can see everybody else's hypocrisy, but then he can't like see
his own.
Yeah.
Oh no, he sees his own, he just ignores it. I was like, what is he gonna do? He doesn't know what to do. He can't fix it. Nobody else can fix that. His Hatsumi, I guess. She just pats his forehead and says, it's okay, babe. And he's like, you're right. I'm right.
You're like, yeah, everything gets spun around to be like, whatever convenient narrative he wants to give about
exactly. He's like, you're right. I'm right. Exactly. Yeah. No. But yeah, give him credit for that. He's smart, but he's also a sociopath. He's a sociopath.
He's smart.
He needs help.
He's also maybe autistic. I don't know.
He's a sociopath. I wouldn't even. Yeah.
You're like, no, he's just a full-on sociopath.
He's got an antisocial personality disorder, and I mean, okay, let me take it back. He's not 18 yet. Operant defiant disorder. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Since we're being accurate, but he's a little sociopath in the making, or he is already one.
Yeah,
he was literally torturing small animals, i.e., Hatsumi.
He probably tortured actual small animals, but
probably, to be honest, we don't know. We don't get to see that because the author is biased.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah. I don't know why this. All right, so we got to talk about the biggest plot point that's happening here. Is Shinogu has to face his feelings his romantic feelings that he has for his adopted sister here, right?
You cannot see the way I rolled my eyes.
I could hear it.
As you were saying it, my eyes just rolled harder. It was just like his romantic feelings for his sister. God.
He does. So he has apparently never seen Hatsumi as his sister, which is like,
it's gross. It's icky. And this is why I have an issue. I couldn't say it last episode, but I can today.
Today you can go all out on your Shinogu hate. Let's go.
Shinogu is Hatsume's older brother. He's like 20, I think, or 21, something like that. It doesn't really matter how old he is. I don't really care. He's older than her, and he shouldn't even be at the house still. But whatever. He's in college, and he is not. So spoilers. He's not actually her blood brother. He's her cousin. Not that this makes this any better. Let's be clear.
Wait, do we know that he's her cousin?
I think they said he was the cousin. Yeah, like his parents died, and then the dad took him in and raised him as if he was his kid, and he's always known that he wasn't their kid and he was adopted. But like, he's not related to her, really. He's not her brother. Let me put it this way: he's not her brother. Yeah, he's not actually her brother. But they have been raised as siblings, and when he was
like 3, and so he must have been like 6 or something.
6 or 7, something like that. But like, he's always harbored, because like she was already born, and she was already like breathing air, and they took him in. So as far as Hatsumi knows, and her sister, that's their brother, because they didn't have any memories of him not being there. So they don't know that he's not their brother. They just have always thought that. He's always known that they weren't his sisters. But for some reason with Hatsumi, he's just like attached to her in this unhealthy way, where at first he thought it was being a big brother protecting his little sister. But then he started to develop like actual romantic feelings for her. And he never truly saw her as his sister. He's only ever seen her as a person that he has romantic feelings for. And while she's been growing up thinking, this is my big brother, he's there to protect me, he's always been there, you know, I love him as a brother, platonic brother, familial bonds here.
Yeah.
He has not had those same feelings. And then on top of that, there's a big disparity in how he treats her and how he treats Akane. He does not give her the same love, affection, or grace that he gives to Hatsumi. In fact, he kind of ignores her. He ignores the heck out of her, and she ignores the heck out of him.
Hate him.
No, well, I mean, like, if you're gonna be a big brother, you need to be a big brother to both of them. I have siblings, and yeah, you know, I'm closer to some of my brothers than I am to my others, but at the end of the day, they're all 3 of them are my brothers, and I don't really differentiate anything about that. But he really does. He treats her kind of like a stranger. Like, yeah, that's his sister, but like, if she was about to get hit by a truck, he would hesitate to go get Akane. If it was Hatsumi, he'd throw himself in front of that truck and he'd be taken out. But like, it's just, you can tell from the very beginning that he just does not care as much. And my beef with this whole situation isn't even that. It's not even the disparity in how he treats the 2 of them. It's the fact that he knows that Hatsumi has never seen him as anything other than just a brother. And but he's been in love with her. And it calls into question everything he does, because you're like, is he doing all of these things for her? All of these wonderful memories she has, all of these good times that they had together. It wasn't because he was doing it because he was her brother. He was doing it because he was in love with her and he wanted to smash. And it just kind of undercuts all the nice things he did, because it's like, you had an ulterior motive from the beginning. And that's kind of the crisis that Hatsumi finds herself in when she does find out that Shinogu has been in love with her this whole time. She's kind of like, but you're my brother, and I only love you as my brother. Like, I don't understand. And he's like, but I see you as a woman, and I want to be with you. And she's like, but you're my brother. And he's like, well, can't you think of me as a man? And she's like, no. Like, at first she's like, no. But then when she sees, because she's selfless to a friggin' fault, she sees how much it hurts him, her rejection. She's like, well, let me think about it. Let me see if I can make myself feel differently about you. And like, that's another thing about Hatsumi that drives me nuts, is she molds herself to be whatever another person needs her to be or wants her to be.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything about like what she likes about anything.
Yeah, there's nothing. We don't know anything about her. She's a blank slate that gets written on by whoever she happens to be in the room with at the time. And that happens with Shinogu. And she starts to question her feelings for Shinogu. And it's not because she's actually developed romantic feelings for him, but because she's reacting to his really oppressive feelings for her, his overwhelming feelings, I should say. And she starts to think that maybe she could love him as a person. And I'm just sitting here shaking my head like, girl, just stay with Ryoki. Like, words I never thought I would say, but just stay with Ryoki. This man is a creep. Like, this is not okay. Like,
no. The real answer is there are more than 3 men that exist in the world.
Yes, agreed. There are more than 3 men in the world.
There are more than the people that live in your housing complex.
Is she going to look for them? No. So just stay with Ryoki. It's easier. At least he's not your brother. But yeah, it's really frustrating. And like, Shinogu kind of is like, he's this like ultimate nice guy, TM, who's like, I'll love you from afar. Even if you don't love me back, I'll just still be your brother no matter what. And you're like, no, you can't. You're at the point where you cannot go back to just being her brother. You're never going to just be her brother. In her eyes, in your own eyes, whatever. Like, you're going to be the one at the wedding that they're going to have to gag because you're going to be like, I object. Like, like, you're not allowed in the church. Like, just, there's no way.
So you don't like that he became a monk.
So because Hatsumi finally rejects his feelings and she decides that she wants to be with Ryoki. Mind you, I say decide because she has finally made the decision that, yes, she wants to be with Ryoki and he is the man for her and there's no one else in this world for her but Ryoki. She tells Shinogu this. Shinogu, nice guy TM, says, I understand. I will always be your brother. I'll always love you. Whatever's best for you. I just want the best for you. And she's like, thanks, big brother. I'm glad that you're my big brother. And she's like, yeah. And then they hug. And then she runs off to go find Ryoki because she's an idiot. And then Shinogu goes to his friend and his friend's like, so you told her and she rejected you? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, other fish in the sea. And he's like, no, for me, there's only her. And this idiot, he goes and he joins a friggin' monastery. He shaves his head, which they show us, and he becomes a friggin' monk. Like, Shinogu cannot let go of his feelings for his sister to the point that he gives his life over to Buddha because he can't do anything else.
Yes.
It's so stupid. And it's like the most comically dumb plot point of them all. It's like a telenovela or a soap opera. Like, if I can't have you, then I will give myself to the Lord because there's no one else for me but you. Like, that's literally Shinogu. And there's another girl who has been in love with Shinogu since the beginning. And he is just so wrapped up in Hatsumi that he can't even like allow himself to even think of having a healthy relationship with anyone else other than the Lord, because he shaves his head and he becomes a monk. And he doesn't tell Hatsumi that's what he's doing. Only the friend knows. And he just goes and disappears from her life to become a monk. That's the dumbest crap I've ever seen in my life. Like, there are dumb plot points, and then there's that. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna become a monk. It's great. It's fine.
So overall, my issue with the manga is like, I feel like I gave it a lot of grace actually in the first half, and like even in the first volumes of this, I was like, okay, it's still doing the thing. It had a chance, is what I'm saying, to like stick the landing, and it did not. It falls on its face on all fronts with this landing, with this ending, right? So like the Shinogu stuff is just, it's all too fast, right? Like, I could buy that she could maybe think of him differently in a decade. Like, like, if you give it time. But we get the comical, like, she overhears and sees Ryoki with Ruri, the evil, like, tutor. No, she's like a classmate, competitive person with Ryoki that his mom tries to set him up with. And so, like, he's like, I will get with you if you obey, like, these 2 things. And, of course, the ridiculous things like you can only think about me and whatever, right? Like,
it's just dumb.
And then, but she agrees to them, so she goes to his house, and Hatsumi oversees and overhears them, and so she's like, "Oh no, Ryoki has moved on and is going to smash somebody else who's not me." So she immediately runs to Shinogu, which does not feel in character either. Like she runs to Shinogu and is like, "Take me as your woman." It's like, what the heck is it? No,
yeah, no, that happening. And Shinogu's like, "No, you don't really mean it. It's fine." I was like, "Shut up, Shinogu."
Well, like, he's right though.
I mean, he's not wrong. Agreed, but I'm just saying, like when he said it, I was like, "Dude, shut up, do it." And stop playing. Like, stop playing like you don't really want it. Like, you don't care how it happens. You want it. But because he's
been fantasizing about this for...
Yeah, so she was like 4.5. But like, since you're nice guy TM, Shinogu, he decides that he's going to be the bigger person and tells her, "No, I can't do that because your feelings aren't there in the right way." And I'm like, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, the whole situation is just like, don't do this. No, everybody shut up and get out of the, like, pretend this never happened, you know?
Like, yeah, like that, it was gross. And then like Ryoki, he doesn't smash the girl because it doesn't feel right.
Because he doesn't want big tits.
Yeah, because he wants the small ones that barely fit in his hands. He wants Hatsumi. Essentially, that's his romantic way of saying he can only have Hatsumi.
Yeah.
But again, it comes out of his mouth and you just shake your head.
Yeah.
Like, he just opens his mouth and you're like, you got to read between the lines. He's saying he loves her, but like,
he says it in the grossest way.
Yeah, it's like the nastiest way possible.
It's like, why, Ryoki? Why? Okay,
honey, there are other words that you could have strung together, and you chose these.
Okay. He can't. So all of it is like too fast, a little bit out of character
for everybody involved.
For everyone involved, and also I just feel like the way that the series overall treats the sexuality, like, makes no sense on it. Like, it just...
Hatsumi gives consent, but she doesn't have consent to give because there's the uneven power dynamic between her and Ryoki from the beginning. There's the fact that he and his family hold her family's future in their palms. And if she says no to him, he could retaliate by ruining her family's entire existence. So she says yes to these things, but she's not really able to not say yes in each situation. Then when they do kind of get on some equal footing and they are in a relationship.
I was like, there's no adjective you can put in front of relationship. That's gonna be good.
There's nothing that makes this better. She gives consent, but again, it's not a healthy relationship that she's in. So you question the consent that she's giving because she's making a lot of concessions for Ryoki that put her well-being, her needs, and her wants on the back burner. And like, there's things that he does, like he touches her and she's not ready for that. But she closes her eyes and she's like, you can tell this is something she's not comfortable with. Everything about her body language, she's locked up, her eyes are closed. She's like, her fist, she's like clenching her fist as he's doing this. She's gritting her teeth. Like, she's not into this. And yet she allows him to touch her in these ways that she's not ready for. And then halfway through the series, it's like, oh, well, actually, I did all of that because I loved him. And it was totally consensual. No, it wasn't. Like, he was pushing your boundaries. And instead of being like, this does not, she does, I will give her credit. She does say it does not make her comfortable, but she doesn't back that up with action or telling anyone or doing anything else to kind of get away from him. She just gives into this. She just kind of like internalizes her feelings and lets it happen. Like, oh, this too shall pass. If I just sit here and it'll be over soon and I don't have to think about it again. It's so weird. And like, even during their consensual sexual encounter, like towards the end when they do have sex, finally, he's very aggressive. And like, while it is consensual, and at this point she has actually chosen him. She left Shinogu, she came back to Ryoki. She got mad about that girl being in the house. Ryoki was like, took you long enough. And then they start having sex. And while it's consensual and she does want this, it's very Ryoki heavy. Like, he's doing all of the touching on her body without asking, like, what does she want? Where do you want me to touch you? Where do you want this? Is this okay? Do you feel okay with this? Like, there's never a point where he's asking any of these questions. He's just doing what he thinks is right, because at this point he's been training up for the sex Olympics.
Yeah.
So,
well, see, yeah, I think my problem comes from like the whole manga has been about how much, seemingly, the whole manga has been about how much Ryoki wants to have sex with Hatsumi. But we don't ever, like, we've gotten glimpses into how Ryoki thinks at certain points, right? We get, obviously, we're like always in Hatsumi's mind. And so even when Hatsumi is like, oh, like my heart races when he's starting to do stuff.
Sex.
Yeah. And but like, to me, I'm just like, but we have never seen you look at Ryoki and be like,
No.
I want to hold his hand. As
a sexual part.
Yeah.
Like they're not on the same level. It's like
I want to
he's an
him,
adult,
you know?
Like he's an adult wanting an adult relationship and she is a child falling, like having her first crush. Like they're on two completely different levels.
I don't even feel like she shows interest in a childish crush. That's what I'm saying. Like she's not even like, so I wanted to hold his, I want to know what it feels like to hold his hand. I want to know what it feels like to like kiss him or like kiss him in this way. Like she has
you know what? You're right. You're right. There's never a point where she wants to be physical with him. Like it's literally like I still stand by what I said about it being like a child's crush, because even as a child, when you have a crush, you have these feelings for this person, but you don't really know what to do with them. So you don't really know what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. So like he makes her heart race. She sees him in the rose-colored shoujo glasses with the flowers in the corners. Like she sees him differently, but she never gets to the point where she's like, he's my boyfriend. He's the man I want to be with. He's like everything that I want. She just kind of is like, oh, the things he does, they make my heart flutter. Or, oh, he touched me there and it tingled. Like, yeah, it's a physical response to it. It's to a stimulus. Like that's what it is. It's like she's reacting to stuff he does.
And then at one point she said something about like, oh, because, you know, she's like, oh, I must be in love with him because my heart races when I think about him or he touches me. And I'm like, no, that means you're horny. That doesn't mean anything else.
It's not the same. That's not even it. So you never, it's like, you know, without a doubt that Ryoki is in love with her and she is literally the only person for him. Like that is made very clear. Like, unhealthily clear that he is a Hatsumi sexual, and that is it. That is all he's ever wanted. That is all he is ever going to need. He doesn't need or want anybody else. He has groomed her into the perfect little sub for the rest of their lives.
Oh, no.
Like everything about that's it. That's all he wants. But like when like I said from the beginning, like we said from the beginning, Hatsumi is such a nothing character that we don't know anything about her. What she wants, what she likes, what she doesn't like. She is literally there at the mercy of the plot and other people. She is a chameleon. She becomes whatever the plot demands that she be in that moment or not, or whatever the characters around her want her to be. For Shinogu, she is this goddess, this sexual being that he can never aspire to touch. For Ryoki, she is his everything, but he also treats her like a toy. And for Azusa, she's a toy that he can manipulate to get whatever he wants done. But like, you don't know what she wants. Like, does she want to go to school? Does she even like school? Does she have any other friends? Like, we don't see her with any female friends. We only see her with that one guy who ends up dating her sister. Can't remember his name right now.
Oh, Subaru.
But like, that's the only friend we see her with. We don't see her with any other girlfriends that she hangs out with. We don't even see her at school doing anything. Like, what does she want? Does she want to become an office worker when she grows up? Does she want to become a vet? Does she even want to go to college? Does she want to be a mother, a housewife? Like, what does she, like, nothing. We get nothing from her. We don't know anything. Even with, at least with Akane, she has a whole conversation about what she wants to do in the future and how she wants to do those things. And is Hatsumi? I don't know. Ryoki's wife. That's what she's gonna be. Yeah. Not because she wants it, because that's just what it is. That's it. Like, there's nothing else.
Because she is propositioned with, you want to be Ryoki's wife or not Ryoki? Like, it's always like, the plot will come with a conundrum. She has to pick a side, and then
I think at the end she's wife in training. The final. That's the final title she gets from Ryoki. She's no longer girlfriend, she's wife in training. He said it. I think he said it, and it made me just shake my head. Yeah, he literally lifts her up and he's like, "We're getting married." And she again says nothing. Like, nothing. Not a word.
She's like, "We are?"
Like, yeah. Wow. No, she doesn't respond. That's just it. That is literally it. He's like, "Marry me." That's an order. Sorry, wrong chapter. If we get married, I'll be more important to you than your family or your brother or anybody else. This is Ryoki's words, because that's what he wants. He wants to be more important than anyone else in her life. And the way he sees the means of getting that is to be her husband, because by law and God, he is higher than everyone else in her life until they have children, which God forbid they do, because two people, I can't think of two people who should never procreate more than these two chuckle.
This manga really abuses the upturned eyebrows too to make them all seem so sympathetic and sad, you know? Like, Ryoki's doing it here.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Last page of the manga. So she's like, yeah, some things have changed and some things haven't. Ryoki's having a conversation with other people. She's like, but still, this is where I live. And then Ryoki says, "Move it, Hatsumi. That's an order." And she says, "Coming." And that's the last page of the manga. The last word is her saying, "Yes, honey, I'm coming. My bad for making you wait 2 seconds."
Yes. It's
just
terrible.
Absolutely gross. Like,
he's horrible. Yeah. Again, I'm just like, the sexuality of this is like, it's not gross that it's sexual. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's gross that there's no agency and the main character has nothing of value.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
You just shake your head.
Yeah.
And then let's not get started on Hot Gimmick S, because the Viz Big editions, the final volume includes the first chapter of Hot Gimmick S. Just in case
you wanted to keep going.
The S stands for Shinogu.
Oh, no.
It's an alternate AU written by someone else based on the concept of Hot Gimmick, but endorsed by the author.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, where Hatsumi does not choose Ryoki in the end, but instead decides to stay with Shinogu. And it just details their relationship moving forward.
So you really hate that.
Yeah, I absolutely loathe it. It's disgusting. So for all you Shinogu lovers out there who thought, man, she should pick her brother, like, better than Ryoki, there's a book for that.
I still feel like it would be gross. No.
It is gross and terrible. And it's a fanfic. It's literally a Hot Gimmick fanfic that got published. Just fine. Whatever. Teach their own. But yeah, just ill, gross. But
Okay, so we're going to do a ranking of the characters by terribleness, and we'll probably have different rankings. So, okay, I've got 14, like, relatively major characters here written down. So we'll start with most terrible, because, obviously, I would say Ryoki.
I am going to say Azusa. I'm going to say
terrible
Azusa.
Character.
Yep.
Wow.
Because he's okay. That man he had reasons for doing what he did, but he's really still terrible. He's a little criminal. Like, all the things that Ryoki did literally only really affected one person. Azusa was out here trying to take down the entire housing complex and ruin multiple lives without regard for anything else.
He's still trying.
Yeah, exactly. He set up a gang rape. He drugged this girl several times with the intent of taking advantage of her with a group of people several times. He was foiled each time. And he never apologizes for anything he does. He never says, "Oh, my bad, wrong person." In fact, when they find out the truth, he's just like, "Dang, should have gone after you from the beginning." Like literally, no, he has no redeemable qualities. I do not feel any sympathy for this man. No.
I mean, you know what? That's fair. That is fair. But in terms of how much, so the Ryoki thing for me is that, Hatsumi had that point at the end too, where she was like, maybe if I marry Ryoki, he'll be nicer to me. And I was like, absolutely never, girl. Never. He will not. I hate everything. Just every time Ryoki opens his mouth, I'm like, he is a terrible person. And I can't take it, you know? Asusa has his like soft moments, and I'm like, you know what? I won't forgive you for gang rape, but like
The fact that you have to say that is the problem. Ryoki.
See, this is a fun game to play with this manga because there's so many terrible options, you know?
Exactly. Ryoki's a terrible person.
Yes.
But
he doesn't belong in jail yet, is what you're saying.
He can be redeemed. He needs a therapist, not jail. Azusa needs jail. There's no redeeming that one. And also, again, I said that, like I said earlier, you're more, well, I am. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I'm slightly more sympathetic towards Ryoki because we get to spend so much time in his head. Like a lot of time with shoujo series, we focus solely on the heroine and their thoughts and their feelings, and that's kind of it. So it's a very one-sided lens that we're viewing the story through. But Hot Gimmick has a unique take in which we do spend a considerable amount of time inside of Ryoki's head, inside of his thoughts, his feelings, and like why he does what he does, his motivations. So he becomes a lot more sympathetic on subsequent reads because like when you're first reading, you're just like disgusted by everything he does. But when you read it again and you are now, you know what's going to happen, so you're not so just like blown away by just the atrocious things that he does. You do see that there is a method to his madness. Is it the right thing? No. Does he choose violence at every turn? Yes. But you kind of understand him more, and I feel for him. Like I will admit, like I don't even know if I want to admit this in real life, but there were some times where Ryoki did give the doki dokis, and I was just like, oh, and then I was like, no. It was like, no, he did not make my heart flutter. No, he didn't. Stop. Mm-mm.
Was it that hand-holding scene where they go to like the park with all the people and he's like, look, we've been doing it wrong?
It was that and some other things, but still, like, you just, yeah, he's like a child. You just want to take care of him, make sure he's okay.
Okay, I don't agree, but that's okay.
Yeah, I know.
We're different people.
I agree.
And we can be fine. Okay.
Oh, no, I know. I knew when I said it was going to be controversial.
I mean, no matter which person you pick, it's controversial because it's like, do you put gang rape or just like...
Yeah, it's like, do you put this above
like,
this?
What do you? Yeah, like what? Like
you put gang rape or domestic violence.
Yeah, domestic
which do you
abuse,
put higher?
Like constant domestic abuse higher. Like yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it's like there's no winning here. They're apples and oranges, but they're not good ones either.
No,
there's nothing good about this. Yeah.
Well.
I put Azusa.
Okay. All right. In second place, I'm not gonna lie. My first 3 places are all the Tachibanas. It's just, I hate all of them. Delete that family from existence.
Okay, I agree. I will put I put the father and the mom on the same level because they do, I feel like they can be included as a unit instead of as separate people because a lot of the things that they do are on the same level. They are very concerned with appearances and their reputation to the point that they neglect a lot of the like familial things that they're supposed to be taking care of. The dad, he doesn't feel love in his family, and he feels obligated to stay in the family because it's for appearances. If he divorces his wife, it's gonna look bad. So he stays with her, but he cheats on her constantly with other women. The mom is constantly covering up the dad's transgressions and pretending like everything's fine because if she lets anyone know that this is going on in her family, then people will look down on them. So like a lot of the things that they do are all just around protecting the image of the Tachibana name. So they're on the same level. Are they evil? No, just rich people in a really, really screwed up situation.
I don't know. Mr. Tachibana I really hate that he's like, look at this nice old man who doesn't love his wife or his child. And then he goes to another child who was the child of one of his mistresses who died, and instead of apologizing was just like, you're not the only one who has grief over it, you little crappy high school boy. And I was like, sir, that is really like...
that's not right. But I will say this. I don't think he ever loved his wife. He had Ryoki because it was expected of him to have a child. Mind you, Ryoki does not have siblings. Let's remember this. Yeah. He doesn't have siblings. It's just him, which means he slept with his wife that one time out of obligation. They had Ryoki and his job was done. His obligation was done. And that man went off to go find love in other places. Like, it's not right because Ryoki didn't do anything. He didn't ask to be in this situation. So it's not fair that his dad does not give him the time of day and is incapable of loving him. But it also explains why Ryoki is the way he is. But his mom definitely loves him. She does. Now, does she go about raising him right? No. But she does love him, and she does try to give him everything he wants. The dad, I'm a bit sympathetic to him because, again, it was an obligation thing. Like, it's clear he did not love his wife, and he only had Ryoki because that's what he had to do.
Yeah, but then he has that scene with Asuza where he tells Asuza
he was
that
hurting.
He's not,
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly feel like he was in love with Azusa's mom. And like when she died, it broke him. Like I think that was coming from a place of someone who was in love with her, and losing her hurt him as a person he was in love with. And while he acknowledges that she has a child, that was not a part of their relationship. So like his sympathy for Azusa doesn't have any, because as far as he's concerned, Azusa is just the thing that was tying her down so that they couldn't be together. So is it right that you tell a child that it doesn't matter that that was your mom, but that was my girlfriend? God, like, no, It's horrible. It's a horrible thing to do. But I also get where he's kind of coming from. I don't make excuses for these people, but like,
damn, you are so sympathetic to these Tachibanas.
That was I see it from like, that was the love of his life, and he lost the love of his life. And like, you know how you'll see sometimes where it's like, oh, that was my mom. Well, that was my wife. Like, where like a child and a parent or like a dad are having a conversation, and the mom dies, and like the kid is crying because it's like, that's their mother left, their mother's gone. But the husband is taking it harder because he's like, that was my wife, that was the person I expected to spend my life with, that was the person that I was in love with, and they had been with that person before the child even existed, and they're gone. So it's like two different types of loss, not to negate either one or say that they're not on the same level or not, they're not both valid. But I think Mr. Tachibana was coming from a point of like, that was the woman I loved, and I expected to be with her, because it was very clear she was going to leave them and she was going to be with him at some point. But she died before that could really happen. So yeah, was it right that he yelled at a small child? No.
I think it's just annoying that instead of acknowledging the thing that you just said, where it's like they both loved her deeply in different ways, they're both going to be in this like petty battle with each other forever.
He's not a good person. Like, Mr. Tachibana is not a good person. He's rich and he can do whatever he wants.
Is not a good person either.
Exactly. Neither one of them are. But yeah, Tachibana was an adult. You'd have thought he would have said, been a little bit more sympathetic. But again,
a little more tactful,
Yeah, but that child meant nothing to him in the grand scheme of things. So you would expect he would treat it the same as he would treat anybody else that meant nothing to him. Is it right? No, but I understand where he's coming from. Kind of messed up, but I get it. I get it.
Okay, all right.
And like, again, with Mrs. Tachibana, she knew her husband didn't love her. The only person that she genuinely had a connection to was Ryoki. And she kind of spent most of her time trying to keep up pretenses.
Yeah, I was like, Ryoki didn't care. Like,
yeah, and like the only person that's supposed to love you is your child, and Ryoki's an emotionally stunted child, so he's not giving the affection that she needs either. So it's a lot of this family needs therapy. The dad's probably kind of gone at this point, but the mom, at the very least, at the end, she seems to be more engaged in like what Ryoki's doing and making sure that he he stays in line, and she has a closer eye on him than she did, because like I think if I remember correctly, they're officially divorcing at that point.
Yes, but then Ryuki's like, I'm gonna get married, so you can't control me. Bye.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, yeah, he's like, I'm getting married and I'm moving into the dorms or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, do you? But like, you still kind of get the sense that she's still gonna be able to like have that connection with Ryoki, just not in the I control every breath that you take because you live in this complex and you have to be an example for everyone else. It's more of a I'm your mother, so I'm always gonna be here kind of situation.
I guess. So I think my ranking after that is a little unfair because I put Ruri, who is that like rival to Ryoki, who he almost sleeps with, because she's just female Ryoki.
I feel like she's just there for plot. So
you're like, she's not even a person to me. Okay.
Yeah, like I don't think she's a real person, so I wouldn't even include her at all. She's just there for plot. She and Ryoki are literally the same person. I would have loved to have seen a series from her perspective and not Hatsumi's, but here we are. But she's not malicious. That's the thing with Ruri. She's not malicious. She's just there because she genuinely does want to be with Ryoki. I don't know why anybody wants to be with Ryoki, but here we are.
Want to make smart babies.
Yeah, she's there to. She was willing to do whatever he wanted, but apparently he can't do it without somebody struggling. So that sounded gross, even when I said it. So he just can't get it up for her.
Yeah.
So that's not really a thing that she does. And like, again, technically him and Hatsumi aren't really dating. So yeah. It wasn't really like she did anything terrible. Just there, I guess.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Well, then I definitely put Asusa because what will always stay in your mind about this series is the gang rape.
Okay. So you put Asusa there. I would put Ryoki at 5.
Okay. So we're reversing Ryoki and Asusa.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because Asusa is a terrible person and he should be put in jail.
And he should be in jail for at least 20 years.
It was premeditated. Everything he did was premeditated. Ryoki doesn't premeditate anything. He just does it. So you can give him some slack, some grace for not having put the forethought into whatever he did. But yeah, Ryoki, I put Ryoki here because, again, he's more sympathetic because you know why he is the way he is and why he does what he does. Doesn't mean that what he does is right, because it's not. It isn't. But you get it. There's no other way to say it. You get it. You're kind of like, okay. It's not great. It's not a good thing, but okay. I see. Excellent.
Does not deserve the rewards he gets for it.
No, he doesn't at all. But when your prize is Hatsumi, I mean, did you really win anything?
You're right, though.
So let's be real. But he actively does work on himself, and he does become a little bit better of a person. Does he kind of regress back to his old habits every now and again? Yes, all the time, constantly. But he is at least mindful that his actions have consequences, at least when it counts with Hatsumi. And when they're alone together, he does make some concessions, which it sounds gross when I say it, because you really should just be mindful of other people at all times. But he makes concessions for her in a way that he doesn't for any other person, just in general. And that's better than what he was doing before, which was just disregarding her feelings all around. He at least acknowledges that she has them, and he tries to weasel his way around them, but he acknowledges that they're a thing and that he has to actually have a conversation with her before he does whatever the heck he wants to do. So
yeah.
He grows. He does go through a character arc, and he does grow into a slightly better person by the end.
I will never like this man.
Yeah, like I give him some grace, but I also think he's a deplorable piece of crap.
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah.
So the rest of this ranking gets a bit hard because it's just kind of lower numbers now. But I would agree. So there's I'm going to group the next group of people as like
my next person is very solid.
Very solid Shinogu. Is that?
Yes, it is 100%. It's a very solid Shinogu.
Okay.
He is only under Ryoki because he's a nice guy, TM. He doesn't
Yes.
he's not malicious. He's just dumb. I mean, I guess you could say the pining for his sister for years and harboring romantic feelings for her despite knowing that she only sees him as a sibling is malicious, but I don't really see it as malicious. I see it as really just misguided. Yeah, that's the only reason. He never acts on his feelings. Yeah. So he's below Ryoki. Ryoki literally does not give two fudges, and he will literally just like
he's just like
snatch
touch your
Hatsumi.
titties.
Yeah, like snatch Hatsumi whenever he wants. Like Azusa. Shinogu at least acknowledges that I'm in love with her and I want to touch her, but the goddess is a goddess.
Do that, yeah.
I shouldn't do that unless she wants it. And even if she wants it, I can't touch her because she is too pure and too wonderful for me to touch with my tainted, filthy hands.
Yes.
So Azusa, or not Azusa, Jesus, Shinogu, right there under Ryoki.
Okay, that makes sense. For me, I feel like there's like a group here that's like, they're not bad, but they're not good either. That I put like Shinogu's in this group because I'm like, he's a nice guy, as you say, TM. Nice guy TM, but like there is something a little weird and gross about the thought that he's like, I've wanted to kiss my sister for 15 years. It's like, that's a little gross.
There's like probably a bunch of forum posts that he wrote. Just like, so what do you do if you have feelings?
Yeah, he's like posting on like, am I the asshole? Like stuff. Like on Reddit like and stuff.
He's a Reddit poster. Like, am I the asshole? I've been in love with my sister since we were like kids. But I also know that
jerk. And like
he puts it up all the time.
Oh my god.
Reddit has been my friend.
Yeah,
Shinogu.
Reddit's his only friend, Shinogu.
Jesus.
Yeah. I put like their dad in here because their dad, like helped Mr. Tachibana do bad things.
Dad was in a very difficult situation.
Yes. He's
a subordinate. He's not even high up in the company. No. So if the big boss comes and tells you have to do something, you kind of have it, or else your family will get kicked out of this housing project. You will lose your job. You'll be blacklisted. Like, yeah, he did it for the money, but like,
the situation was to adopt Shinogu because they didn't have enough money. Yeah,
and that like there were a lot of extenuating circumstances, so I don't blame him so much. It's more of he was in a tight spot and he made the best of a crappy situation. And it was also one of those things that he never thought that anybody was going to go digging into, i.e. Azusa. But and nobody else was digging into it. Not even Azusa's dad looked into it. He didn't care. Like at that point, he was done. The only person who really was with like a dog with a bone was Azusa. And if Azusa hadn't been going crazy, there really wouldn't have been any consequences for that. So I don't think Mr. Naruto did anything wrong. I just think bad situation he was in. Just he made the best of a really bad situation.
Yes, so he's not good, but he's not bad.
Yeah, he's just kind of there.
He's just a guy who is there. Asusa's manager, again, like she doesn't do anything deplorable, but she also does not send Asusa to jail when he.
She's an enabler. She's an enabler, so she gets higher up on my list too.
Yeah.
She knows that he's doing these terrible things, and instead of checking him or stopping him, she just covers it up.
Yeah, she's just like, maybe you shouldn't do the worst of it, though.
Yeah, just girl, I get it. He's talent. You gotta maintain talent, maintain that money flow. But when you found a girl in a room full of other models about to be assaulted, perhaps then was the time where you should have said.
Then was the time to make a statement,
Yeah, I need to go. I can't do this anymore. But no, she continued to cover up for him because that's what she does.
Yeah.
It's her job.
To that, okay. So Hatsumi, because what is this girl? There is no spine. There are no thoughts.
Hatsumi doesn't even belong on this list because she's not even a real character.
She's not a real person.
Just cut her off. I don't even rank. I can't rank her because there's nothing to her. There's nothing. I can't hate. I hate it because I wish she would do more or anything. But again, she literally is nothing. She does not exist. If you took her out of the story, I guarantee nothing would really change.
Nothing would change
at all. But yeah, just there's not enough to her for me to like go, I hate this woman or I like
I
her.
don't
Like there's
know.
nothing to like about her because she doesn't do anything. And I mean, I
The
dislike
fact that
her
she doesn't do
because
anything is why I don't like her. You
yeah, but I'm
know.
saying like I dislike her because she doesn't do anything, but also I
Also, she
can't say
runs
I
the
like her either.
Shinogu. That makes me mad. It made me mad.
Okay, that was weird. That was the weirdest, stupidest part. But and she knew this man was in love with her, and she ran to him.
She's like, he's
That
my
was the
brother,
first.
but let's definitely have sex. What?
That
No.
was the first time she did that too. Like she didn't choose anybody else, but she chose Shinogu.
Like, I can't with this decision. Okay.
She said, Shinogu, wait.
Shinogu, wait. No, don't wait. Don't wait. Kazuma, who is Shinogu's roommate, just has that thing where he's into younger girls, and it's like, why we gotta add that detail? We didn't have to. He could have just been a nice little hot roommate guy, but no, now we had a roommate.
Because I feel like the author just has to have a grain of terribleness to everybody so that Ryoki looks better. Just a little grain. Just a little dabble.
Yeah, okay. Then Akane, because we did get into a lot of the terrible situations in the beginning because of Akane. She got better.
I would move her further down the list
Okay.
because, yes, she's the reason we're in this situation, but she goes through an arc. We see her start out one way and end the series in a completely different way. We see her making good strides towards a future. She's in a healthy relationship with someone who actually values her and she values herself more. Like,
yeah,
I like what the story does with her. Now, again, that crap in the beginning sucked, and she made some real selfish decisions, but she learns from her decisions and she actually becomes a better person for it.
Yes,
in the
if
end.
Hot Gimmick was about her, it would have been much better.
Oh my god, it would have been a whole different story. It would have been such a better story.
It would have had like way more sex in it, probably. And it would have been like such a more gratifying story arc.
Yes, because you see her change. You see her do better.
Yeah.
God forbid Hatsumi does anything.
Yeah, we don't need Hatsumi.
No, we don't. In fact.
It's okay.
I don't know why she's on any of these covers.
I don't know. I do. Okay, I like from an art perspective, I like how we got to see them look a little aged up as they grow via different haircuts and such. That was a little fun.
It's fine, I guess, but I'll just...
You're like, but still, just take her off the covers. Okay.
Yeah, just get rid of her. She's a waste. A waste of time, waste of space.
A waste of everything. I agree. This next group, I think, is just people that I'm like, yep, they're good. They didn't do anything very wrong here. Mm-hmm. We've got Asahi, who was in love with Shinogu's brother and his Subaru sister. She just tried to make Subaru look cool and be a nice, hot, cool, fashionable chick. Like, don't dig.
She got the short end of the stick. You fell in love with a man who was in love with his sister.
Yeah, that's a little... She probably regrets that.
When she found out, she cried because she realized there was no way she was getting in between that. And that's sad. That was really sad.
I think it's also like she must be like, ooh, Shinogu, that's a little creepy. Like,
I don't even know if she had the bandwidth for that. I think she just was like, he's never gonna be with me now. And I was like, that's fine. Move on. There are other people out there for you. Go be with his roommate. Go
be with Cosmo. It's like, it's fine. I think, Mrs. Narita is pretty good. She has her moments of being like a little tiger mommy, but like it's justified.
She does what she can with the knowledge that she has. Like when she sees Ryoki with her and she immediately pulls like
and the
Hatsumi
bandwidth
away.
That
and
she
it's
has
like,
with 4 kids,
Yeah, she's like, Hatsumi, come here. We're going home now. I don't want you seeing him anymore. He's not a good influence. And I was like, okay, she knows what's up.
Yes.
But when they're constantly keeping things from her, she can only react when she knows. So yeah, she's again another character that like you said, got done dirty by the plot. She wasn't present. She wasn't as present because again, it wasn't her story. So
no, it's also like you do kind of have to wonder about the Naritas. Like they chose to keep the adoption a secret, which I can understand to a degree, but like Shinogu had agency in this situation to just tell his sisters at some point that he was adopted, like he could have been helping himself.
He didn't want to break up the family vibe that they had. And I think that's a big part of a lot of why.
I think a lot of my
inactivity.
I am very much like the lying even by omission, will never actually work out for you in the end. So
No.
so all of the, that's a lot of what this manga is. So I like struggle with it,
Like there's a lot of stuff that they could have said from the beginning and that would have changed a lot of the story, but they just didn't. Like if they had disclosed about the adoption from the beginning, that would have been a whole different story because then their relationships would have been different.
Yeah.
Like the way, and then Hatsumi might have actually started looking at Shinogu as something more than just a brother. But because they kept it a secret and she only ever saw him as her brother, there was no way she was going to choose him in the end. Not again, I don't want Shinogu to have her in the end anyway, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, there were just so many things that could have changed.
Yeah.
It just, but I get why. I know some people in adoption processes, they keep that a secret or they keep it a closed adoption so that they don't know who their biological parents are, and the biological parents don't want to know who they are, that sort of thing. So there are reasons for doing stuff like that, but I don't really think
I'm just saying, in this situation where Shinogu was like, I want to kiss my sister, like,
yeah, no, that's just weird.
Yeah.
I've said this before for other things, like I don't get the incest stuff. It really is weird, especially with siblings. There are a lot of Otome games that kind of play fast and loose with the brother complexes and having like an older brother who's like into the younger sister, or like having relationships between quote unquote siblings, and then you find out the brother isn't really the brother because of plot, because they needed okay for them to smash. I don't even like the hint of that. Yeah. There's even brothers conflict, which is literally a whole step sibling situation. But at that point, the main character is 16 and the brothers range from 8 to 35. So there's no way she was going to see any of them as like her actual brothers anyway at that point. Yeah. But like that, I give that a pass kind of because of that, except for the like 10-year-old love interest. That's weird. But the BroCon thing, it's weird because I have 3 younger brothers and there's never been a point in my life where I went, I wonder. Like never. Not even a little bit. Like there's not even like a little brain cell went, I wonder. So I have to wonder who's writing these. Like,
what's wrong with you?
Why do you think this is a fetish that should be filled? Like I don't understand. Like did you grow up with siblings? Because if you grew up with siblings, I think you wouldn't be interested in this. Just saying. As someone who grew up with not 1 but 3, they're gross. They're absolutely gross. And even if one of them was older than me, I'd still be like, you're gross. Like, get away from me. Like, you're gross. Go away. But yeah, it's just it's so weird. I can't get into them, and I can't. They're uncomfortable.
That's fair. I think the round out of this list is the 2 sweet summer children, Mariko, the maid. Yes. She does nothing wrong. She is Ryoki's whisperer and always nice.
Yes.
She is nice to both toxic and non-toxic people, which is a great skill to have in life that I do not possess.
Agreed.
And then there's Subaru, and he just wants to be a good boy who's nice to Akane and likes Gundams.
He is pure and innocent and everything right in the world. I feel bad for him that he had to be in this series because he really was just a sweet summer child. Like there was no point where I was like, he is the worst. Like I can't believe he did this. If his only crime, if there is one, is just being oblivious to certain situations, and the fact that Ryoki's a friggin' monster. But because he was like, that's my best friend, there's nothing wrong with Ryoki, he's great. And I'm like, your friend is a sociopath.
Yeah.
Why are you making excuses for him?
I never understood their friendship, but other than Ryoki is lonely, and Subaru does recognize that actually and is like, that's so sad.
Yeah, I'll be your friend. Yeah. Like, okay, but why? Whatever. It's just weird. But yeah, that one was just a weird one for me. He's such a sweetie. And I'm so happy that he gets to be with someone who genuinely appreciates him and loves him and cares about him in Akane, which I never would have expected because they're just so vastly different. But I love that despite their differences, they come together and they kind of fit each other like 2 pieces of the same whole, It's really cute.
Yeah.
Sweet. I
Yeah.
love them.
They're really cute. And I would like a manga about them, please, except not by this
Yeah.
author because she'll probably ruin it and make them do something terrible.
It could be anybody else. It could be anybody else.
Anybody else. Yes. Okay, so like to round it out with some shipping corner where we say very explicitly how much we do or do not like different ships. So I'm going to throw the parents in here just for funsies. They're all fine. No, they're not.
They're fine. I mean, they work well. Okay, the Tachibanas are a nah. I'm glad they split. Good for them.
Yes,
but the Naritas, they're fine. They're fine.
They're fine. They're doing well. So you seem to be like Mr. Tachibana and Miss Onigiri, where you like respect their romance.
It's an affair, so I don't know how much respect I can give to that, but I understand that. At least on his, I don't know, because we don't know on her part, like what the whole thing was with her, because she had to have loved her husband at some point. But with him, I feel like he's one of those wealthy people who was kind of forced into this like marriage and relationship that he really did not want in order to kind of meet these expectations that were put on him. So in that respect, like, yeah, he was in a loveless marriage and he found love in a place he shouldn't have found love, but he found it nonetheless. And
he found love in a hopeless place.
I was thinking that and I was like, no, don't say that. But he found love with this person and then, they died and then he's kind of left with, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? I guess I got to find another one. But I don't know if I would call it true love. I get it. I kind of get it. Like, it's not right. And it did more harm than good, but I kind of get it.
Yeah. I'm always like, cheating is always bad.
It is. I'm not going to say it's right. There's an Otome game called In Your Arms Tonight. It's from Voltage Inc. And in it, you are in a loveless marriage with your husband. Your husband has been cheating on you literally since y'all got married with someone from his job. You find out and you have the choice of either leaving him or staying with him. And in the Japanese version of the game, in the common route, you can decide whether or not you want to stay with your husband or leave him. And depending on which choice you make, that decides which routes you can get. Because some routes are cheating routes and some routes are, I left my husband and I'm starting over routes. Yeah. And it's a really interesting kind of idea but in the American version, they got rid of that choice. Well, I mean, the choice is still there. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because it doesn't connect you to the cheating routes or the non-cheating routes. It's just you can do whatever you want. But like there's an interesting kind of aspect to that because your husband's having an affair. He's cheating on you. He's been cheating on you for years. I mean, why not get yours? Like, not to say that it's right or it's a good thing to do because it's not, but you get that choice.
Yeah.
To do for you what you wanted to do. And I think, get yours. Get yours, fam. Get yours. So I get it. There's another game where something like that similar happens and you leave your husband and then you end up meeting a group of really wealthy guys. And it's another Voltage game. Voltage likes their cheating plots. And you leave your husband and you're starting new and you're striking out. And then you end up with these like wealthy guys and you romance them and they all have something inherently wrong with them. But yeah, just there are reasons that people make decisions like that because they're not getting something somewhere else. Is it right? No, it's not. You should just cut your losses with that partner and move on. There are reasons why people don't do that, but again, far be it for me to say one way or the other. I don't know. I get it. I kind of get it, but I also kind of feel like they both were terrible people for doing it in the first place.
Yes. Exactly.
You said Azusa and Hatsumi.
Azusa and Hatsumi. So, okay, but wait, first, I wanted to go on Archive of Our Own to be like, are there lots of HOT GIMMICK?
Oh, Lord.
Are there HOT GIMMICK fanfics? And then what's the most popular ship? But there's only one. Good. And it's, oh, no. Well, yes, but this one has the tags rape non-con and is Asusa Shinogu. I should have seen coming, honestly.
I'm confused. Huh?
I'm
sorry, did you say Azua and Shinogu?
Yes, Asusa and Shinogu is the pairing for this one.
Sorry. What?
You can I see where they got that, because Asuka is the one who keeps being like, Hatsumi, you should go with Shinogu. Like, he's shipping them so hard. So obviously you're like, well, obviously this is repressed. Asuka has repressed feelings for Shinogu himself, obviously.
Even with that squinting,
With the squinting that you were doing.
Hell no. Absolutely not. What the
Well,
hell?
aren't we against Asuka being with anyone because he's a gang rapist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yes. If he just didn't do that, like, wow, he could have been a good guy.
Oh my god. Asuka and Shinogu.
Asuka and Shinogu.
Of all
Do you like that more or less than Shinogu and Hatsumi?
Same level. Just same level of just no. Just no.
Just no.
Just nah, fam. What? Do better.
You're like, all sorts of no in this fandom. Every answer is wrong. Every answer.
Yes, every last answer is wrong. Ew. There's some slash pairings out there, but that one's a why. Why, Santa? Why?
Oh,
why?
all right. Maybe we can find more on fanfiction.net. Let's go. We're just
Jesus.
gonna go. I need
Down
to
a rabbit
know.
hole.
I need to know.
And further down the rabbit hole.
Oh my god, I
go.
haven't been on this site. Has it changed in 15 years?
No.
Like, Jesus.
No.
Okay.
They keep it the same.
Keep it the same for us old folks who never.
I
Can you,
just
like, filter on this though? Okay, hold on.
I love that. No, I think they added a filter system
they did.
after what happened with because AO3 has like the best
Yeah,
search
I
filter
I know.
imaginable. Like, you can not only search fandoms, but you can search like within fandoms for certain pairings and then like aspects of each pairing. Like, yo, if you've never been on AO3 search or AO3 for fanfics or searched anything, goodness, you need to go, because they make it just so free and easy. I love it so much. Oh,
all right, yeah, it's not as easy on fanfiction.net. This first one definitely says Hatsumi x Shinogu hinted.
No.
Hot Gimmick S redone is the second one. Oh my god. The third one is, what if Hatsumi toughens up a bit? Yeah, I like.
If.
Oh my god. And none of this. Okay, what's the most recently The most recent update actually was 2023, which is not that long ago. But then it goes to 2020. Oh. Like, why are you guys still writing stuff against this? What's wrong with you?
Pandemic
drove us all insane.
Yeah, it had people going looking for things.
All right. Well, now I'm like curious. I'm like, all right, you know what? Shinogu.
That's how they get you the fanfics.
Okay, there appears to only be one Shinogu and Asusa fic on here. So let's put Shinogu and Hatsumi. Okay, this is not that many. Does it matter the direction that I put them in though, is what I'm scared of.
This is hilarious.
No, wait, there were more Shinogu Hatsumi than Ryoki Hatsumi. So, all right, hold on. I need to see if the direction matters here, because this is pissing me off. This can't be possible.
Yeah, see, like with Archive of our own,
I guess all the old ones aren't going to be tagged because they didn't.
You can see like who's the top and who's not.
Yeah, well, see, that's why on Archive of Our Own there's only one though, because Hot Gimmick is old. Yeah, anyway, we've learned too much now about this fandom, and they are all making like even worse decisions than the manga made itself. I don't know, like
sometimes you get a fanfic and you just go, but why? Why did we do this?
Okay.
Who thought this was a good idea?
I mean, when you start with the base level of Hot Gimmick, it can only go down from there with fanfiction, though. Like, that's the bar. That's the trajectory of fanfiction, you know? Like,
the bar was in hell.
Yeah. Now it's in the hell in the outer space somehow, you know? Like, it's like
the bar is still in hell. Why are we here? Like, why do we do this to ourselves?
It's sad because it was already in like the 9th circle of hell too. So like, there's no deeper hell to go to, you know?
No,
like,
there isn't. And yet
we're gonna find new ways.
They find new ways.
Yeah.
At least with like me and my Hero Academia stuff, it's like there's some redemption there, you know?
Yeah.
There's some redemption.
Oh my god. Okay, so Shinogu Hatsumi.
No.
I feel no, I agree. I see where you're coming from. I do feel like if it was given like a lot more runtime, right?
Yes. Okay. Yes. If, and this is a big if,
Big
if they had actually taken the time to establish his feelings for her and like show it as a counterpoint to Ryoki, and then her slowly kind of coming to see him as more than just her brother.
Yeah.
Sure. But she's literally a brick wall from the beginning. Like there is not a point where she's like, I kind of want to smash Shinogu. Like there is not a point where she thinks says it, or even like imagines that it's a thing that she could do. Because it isn't. As far as she is concerned, he is the most uneligible bachelor that has ever lived in all of Japan.
Yeah. And she doesn't have thoughts which would possibly be reasonable given how nice she is. She's not like, I wish I could find a man like Shinogu even.
Yeah, she never says that. Like, never says that. That's not even a word that comes out of her mouth. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to establish this as something that is a possibility, then you need to do the work, the legwork, to make it a real thing. And the author just didn't do it. I feel like they just put it in as shock value. Like, oh, what if she ended up with her brother? And I'm like, get the hell out of here. If she ends up with Shinogu, I'm throwing this away. And I will not finish.
Into the ninth circle of hell.
Yes, like, I'm not finishing this. Like, get out of here. This was not earned. Nobody deserves this. But like I said, objectively speaking, Shinogu is the best guy in the entire series. He just happens to be her brother, which is a problem.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been in love with her the whole time and never said anything, and then did all these things that are now brought into question because it's very clear that he was doing them because he was in love with her, which is icky.
Icky. So we don't like Ryoki and Hatsumi though either.
I don't think they should be in a relationship with anyone, let alone each other.
Yeah.
However, in the grand scheme of all of these relationships outside of Akane and Subaru, because they are OTP, it's not a healthy relationship. I'm not even gonna try to make it. My brain was like, you know what? I can see how it works. No,
I was really hopeful that Hatsumi might answer Akane's question about how their sex. Well, you know, like we could have all hoped that they were leading up to this moment. That would have sucked for both of them.
That would have been hilarious. But again, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? So OTP is definitely Akane and Subaru.
I do like them together. They are cute.
They are so cute. They are the real stars of this manga. Read only their chapters.
And ignore the rest. It's like 3 chapters.
I know.
Plus an extra.
It's like maximum like a volume's worth of chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. It could have been a one shot. Yeah. But yeah, like their relationship it's shown from its beginnings where it's kind of rough, where they didn't really get along. They didn't even like each other. They didn't even know each other. And then you slowly see them get to know each other and kind of accept each other's flaws. And I say this in quotation marks because all that Subaru does is build Gundams, which is not a flaw. It's cute.
That's cute.
It's cute. And then you also see like Akane get into his interests. Like he's into anime and stuff. And she kind of gets insecure. She's like, you like these girls and these anime, but like I'm here. I'm like a girl here in front of you, and you don't seem to be interested in me. So she dresses up as one of his favorite like anime characters, so that he'll pay attention to her, and goes to like an anime convention, and all these dudes start hitting on her, and she's like not liking the attention, and he comes up and he saves her, and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I did this because this is the only way you're gonna pay attention. And he's like, dude, I like you the way you are, like you don't have to do this. But he's like, but you are hot.
Like you are a cutie patootie right now, you know.
He's like, but you are looking real fine in this outfit. Maybe we can keep this. But like, yeah, like it's just a really cute kind of situation. Like, it's really adorable. And I was like, God, if the rest of the story was this, we'd be good.
I know. I do feel like the author also took some jabs, you know, in that chapter at being like, y'all are going to say all my stuff is problematic, but here's a look at conventions where it's all just big boobs and like kindergarten pervy con nastiness, you know, like
she tried that, and I was like, ma'am, you wrote Hot Gimmick.
Yeah, I was like, you can't. No, this is this podcast calling the kettle black, as we say.
Yeah, you don't get to point out other people's flaws. You wrote this. This tragedy is a thing that exists. Good try, though.
Yeah, she was. I mean, good on it being called Hot Gimmick. It knows what it is. It knows what it is. It is a hot piece of trash. That is a gimmick.
Yes, trashy gimmick. It's one of those trashy early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s shoujo manga that we've come to love and cry at the cringe.
I was like, later. Did we come to? We were all, you know, decisions were made in the mid 2000s. I will not forgive. I will not excuse ourselves of our high school decisions. You know.
And yet, again, I still really enjoy Hot Gimmick. It's not perfect. It's not great. It's messy. And like some of the stuff I'm like, ew, gross. Let's never talk about this again. But like as it is, it's definitely a snapshot of the time. It is a look into this very specific time period and the things that we kind of rolled around in and loved and enjoyed. And it is what it is.
And I am grateful that shoujo manga does not believe that many of these things are hot anymore.
God, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We've come so far.
We have.
Let's keep doing
Every time you think we haven't come far in the past 10 to 20 years, just look at Hot Gimmick and then read a modern manga and be like, okay, maybe.
See Hot Gimmick and go, yes, thank you. We win. We thrive. We thrive.
We have better things now.
Yeah, so many better things. Like, thank you so much. But then there are other times where you're just kind of like, I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah. No, I think we did it. We've talked about Hot Gimmick.
We did.
We did it. You're welcome, internet.
Yes, we made it through. It's trash, but it's entertaining trash.
Yeah, you're welcome, internet. Have fun listening to this for like 3 hours, 4 hours. Yeah.
You?
All right.
And I'm a filthy Ryuki apologist.
Yeah, I was like, you are a filthy Ryuki apologist, and that's okay.
I want to hate him. I do, but then he does these things and I'm like,
no.
He's a child. He just needs to be taught.
No.
I know. Like I said, I'm aware.
Never.
My soul knows,
okay. But your heart says yes.
My heart says he can be fixed.
Oh,
we can fix him.
All right.
Hatsumi can't fix him, but we can.
Okay, sure. All right. Thanks for listening to Shojo Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns. Need to tell us how much you liked or disliked the ending of Hot Gimmick, or how much you are a Ryoki apologist yourself. Yes. Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. We're at Shojo and Tell on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Tumblr. Naja, where can people find you and your work on the internet?
All right. Well, you can find me on the interwebs as Blerdy Otome everywhere. I am most active on Twitter. I refuse to call it by its stripper name. Instagram, my site, blerdyotome.com. And I'm also a streamer on Twitch. I use the handle Blerdy Otome. So literally Blerdy Otome everywhere. If you find someone who's Blerdy Otome on any site that is not me, please let me know, because I have some words.
We'll send them copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Takedowns.
I have some words.
Takedowns.
Some words that need to be said. But yeah, pretty much. I'm Blerdy Otome everywhere. Like I said, best places are Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, my site. There's a YouTube channel and Twitch.
Excellent. Are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts or like Spotify. There's a star thing on Spotify. This will help the podcast reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next time for, I don't really, the first half of Mars? I don't know. The first 10 volumes of Snow White with the red hair? I don't know. The first third of Red River? I really don't know, okay? But I've got stuff. I have plans. See? Plans are happening. They are half-formed. So stay tuned to find out what ultimately shenanigans we get into next. Until then, bye!